Jesus heals a deaf man. Bible verse, Mark 7:31-37. One day, Jesus was traveling with his friends. They walked through many towns and villages, telling people about God's love and healing many people. There was a man who could not hear, and he also had trouble speaking. This man had never heard the sound of a bird singing, or the sound of people laughing. He didn't know what his own voice sounded like when he tried to speak. The man had some friends who loved him very much. They saw how sad he was that he couldn't hear and talk, and they wanted to help him. They had heard about a man named Jesus who could do amazing things. They had heard that Jesus had healed people who were sick and made blind people see. So, they decided to take their friend to Jesus. They knew that if anyone could help, it was Jesus. They took their friend to Jesus, and when they got there, they asked Jesus to heal the man. They said, "Jesus, please help our friend. He cannot hear, and he has trouble speaking. Please make him better." Jesus smiled at the man with kind eyes. He loved him and wanted to help him. Jesus took the man by the hand and led him away from the crowd to a quiet place. Jesus wanted to talk to the man in a peaceful way, without too many people around. He wanted to make sure the man felt safe and cared for. When they were alone, Jesus did something special. First, he touched the man's ears. Then, he touched his tongue. After that, Jesus looked up to heaven, and he said something very important. He said, "Ephphatha," which means, "be opened." Something wonderful happened right then. As soon as Jesus said those words, the man's ears opened up. The man could hear. He could hear the birds singing, and he could hear the sound of people talking. The man had never heard anything before, and now he could hear everything clearly. His ears worked perfectly, just like everyone else's ears. Then, the man could speak clearly, too. His tongue was healed, and he could speak just like everyone around him. He could say words and talk to his friends and family. The man was so happy. He was overjoyed. He could now hear and speak for the very first time. He didn't keep the good news to himself. He started telling everyone he saw, "Jesus healed me. Jesus made me well." The people who heard about it were amazed. They couldn't believe what had happened. They couldn't believe how Jesus had made the man who couldn't hear or talk, able to hear and speak again. They were so happy for the man, and they praised God for what Jesus had done. Moral of the story: this story shows us how much Jesus loves us and cares about us. Jesus has the power to heal and help us when we need it. He wants us to be healthy and happy. Jesus didn't just heal the deaf man's ears and tongue, but he also showed him how much he cared. When we feel sad or sick, we can pray to Jesus and trust that he loves us and will help us. Just like the deaf man, we can always be thankful for what Jesus has done for us. We can tell others about the good things he has done, just like the man who was healed told everyone about Jesus. Activity suggestions. Objective: to help children understand the importance of listening and the miracle of hearing. How to play: sit in a circle. First, ask the children to cover their ears with their hands and pretend they cannot hear, just like the deaf man. Then, say Ephphatha, which means be opened, and ask them to uncover their ears and listen carefully to a sound, a bell ringing or a word being said. Celebrate with the children when they hear the sound and explain how the deaf man could hear after Jesus healed him. Prayer time: encourage children to pray for help from Jesus Christ.